In a time when the land became toxic, water turned acidic, and people killed each other for gasoline, this man, whose name is Immortan Joe, rules over the people because he has plenty of water resources. On the other hand, Max travels alone with his car as his only possession. Max used to be a police officer and had a family, but he couldn't save them. They were all killed, and he constantly hears their voices in his head. Struggling to find food, Max is forced to eat lizards. Suddenly, he sees Immortan Joe's soldiers behind. Quickly, he grabs his things, jumps into his car, and ignites the engine of his roaring V8 beast. Immortan's soldiers chasing him, Max tries to escape, but they catch up, destroy his car, and take him prisoner. They shave his head and tattoo his blood type and health details on his back, planning to use him as a blood bag for their soldiers during battles. One soldier tries to brand Max's neck, but Max resists, frees himself, and escapes. He jumps over it and escapes through a back corridor. Finding a hatch to escape, Max is haunted by his family's voices again. The soldiers grab Max's legs, pulling him under the water, but he fights back. His family's images still torment him as he sprints toward an exit, only to find a cliff. Realizing there's no way out, Max grabs onto a hook, but the war boys pull him back into the fortress. In the next scene, a woman with a branded shoulder and a missing arm appears. She gets into a war vehicle, ready for a mission. Immortan Joe with severe skin disease sits nearby, while a child applies medicine to his wounds. Meanwhile, war boys arm their vehicles as Immortan Joe, their leader, prepares for a speech. He puts on his oxygen mask since he can't breathe without it. We see thousands of desperate slaves holding containers, waiting for Joe to release water. Joe controls the water supply, claiming ownership over the land. Behind him, underground water is pumped out. Joe briefly opens the water supply, and people rush to fill their containers, fighting over the remaining drops when he shuts it off. Joe blesses his soldiers for their mission as they head to the gas town to gather fuel and ammunition. Furiosa, the woman with the missing arm, is driving toward Gastown when she suddenly changes direction. The lead guard questions her, but she doesn't answer. Meanwhile, Corpus, Joe's disabled son who watches over the territory, notices Furiosa's sudden detour and informs Joe, and Joe rushes to his vault inside a mountain. When he opens it, he discovers that his beautiful wives are missing. Joe used these women to bear his children, while others were kept as milk slaves or for the soldiers to breed. Furious, Joe declares war and orders his army to prepare. They bring Max along as a blood bag, attaching him to a soldier named Nux. Unaware of the betrayal, Furiosa's guards think the army is backup. Furiosa enters the Spiky clan's territory, sparking a battle. Joe's army catches up, intending to defeat the Spiky clan first. Amid the chaos, Max and Furiosa meet for the first time. One of Joe's wives tries to help Furiosa, but retreats to the safe chamber due to the danger. Furiosa drives straight into a sandstorm. The guard realizes Furiosa has betrayed them and tries to strangle her, but she escapes. Everyone enters the storm. Nux, determined to stop Furiosa, attempts a suicide attack by blowing up his car. Max intervenes to save himself, forcing Nux to crash the car. After the storm, Max wakes up and carries the unconscious Nux. Hearing the sound of Furiosa's car, he threatens her and demands water. When Max tries to break free from his chains, Furiosa attacks him, taking his gun. Fortunately for Max, the gunpowder is wet, so it doesn't fire. Nux wakes up, and Furiosa is forced to fight both of them. Eventually, Max and Nux overpower her. With no other choice, Furiosa explains that Joe is merciless and will kill them all. She convinces Max to team up with her for a better chance of survival. Max reluctantly agrees, and they escape in Furiosa's war rig, though neither fully trusts the other. Joe and his army continue their pursuit. The rig has a mechanical issue, so Max gets out to check. He finds the fuel tank connection is loose. With the rig slowed down, Joe's soldiers catch up. Nux sneaks into the driver's cabin and tries to strangle Furiosa, but fails. Joe himself catches up, attempting to reclaim his wives. Rictus throws a hook at the rig, damaging it and injuring Max, Angharad, one of Joe's pregnant wives, cuts the chain with a bolt cutter. Distracted by fixing the steering wheel, Max crashes into a cliff, and Angharad slips, falling to her death. Joe, devastated by the loss of his unborn child, pauses until his doctor arrives. Max and Furiosa continue into the acidic swamps. Meanwhile, Joe mourns and grows angrier at Furiosa. They encounter resistance from Max's mines, but the rig gets stuck. As they try to escape, Furiosa kills Joe's lead commander with a well-placed shot. Eventually, they reach the Vuvalini, Furiosa's old tribe. However, they learn that the green place has become the toxic swamp they just passed. Furiosa, heartbroken, accepts defeat. The group decides to go their separate ways, but Max stops them, suggesting they return to the Citadel and take it over. Joe's army, resting in the desert, spots the returning rig. Thinking Furiosa is surrendering, they attack. A fierce battle ensues. One of the war boys gets ahead of them and tries to puncture their tire. He almost succeeds, but at that moment, Valkyrie comes and takes him down. Because they push the engine too hard, it stops working. Nux goes to fix it. Since their speed has dropped, Joe's soldiers surround them and start taking over the rig. Immortan Joe captures one of the girls, and it seems like everything is falling apart. Luckily, Nux manages to fix the engine and the power comes back. Furiosa and Immortan Joe try to flip each other's vehicles. Furiosa tells Nux to drive while she takes care of Immortan Joe herself. Furiosa manages to kill Joe by hooking his mask to a wheel and ripping his face off. Nux sacrifices himself by flipping the rig to block the soldiers, allowing the group to escape. Max saves Furiosa's life by giving her his blood. At the Citadel, they show Joe's corpse to the crowd, who celebrate by tearing him apart. The people reclaim their freedom, and Joe's reign ends.